Hey guys, it's me, EODGamer here. In this video, I'll be teaching you how to kill the wolf boss, what gear that I use, what tips I have, and the mechanics for the boss as well. So this video will cover all of that. Let's start things first. We don't waste any time on this channel. I want to jump in with the most important thing out of everything. You know one of the quests when you had to choose the Sapphire charm or whatever charm you had? The best one to choose out of all of them was cold resistance, the one that you have. Don't worry if you don't have this, there is another alternative as well. The reason why cold resistance is super important, and this boss, you want to try to find as much cold resistance as you can. If you look at the cold resistance here, which is the main thing that the boss has, this actually causes the freeze that you are getting. Whenever the boss has that multiple lasers that fall from the sky that you will feel and the freezing fails, the higher cold resistance you have, the higher chance of you not getting frozen because a lot of the damage is mitigated and reduced, which lowers the chill buildup, which is what is causing the freeze. So this is the best tip that I have, increase cold resistance. You can do this simply by finding some cold resistance gear. Let's say you have like rings. Make sure you roll the second line on them if you really are looking for a stat. By rolling the line, I mean using something like the Orb of Transmutation to convert it into magic. We touched on that on the channel. And then you can add a different line as well to find out as much lines as you can. So go for all your gear that you have. Try to open the second line and get as much cold resistance as you can. So this is what I was exactly running on my gear, so you can see the average gear requirements. My rare stuff are mostly on my defensive gear. My weapon I was using is some like generic magic bow even my secondary is just some generic bow. But very importantly, I had a very good amount of resistance here, 11 cold % resistance in my head, as well as 8% cold resistance in my ring. The one that I find super helpful was this thawing charm that I happened to get when I was farming. This grants immunity to freeze. If you have this is definitely top tier for this boss because the freeze is so high. If not, everyone had a choice of Sapphire Charm. You can use this as well. If you don't have either of them, no worries. You can just find it in equipment. A quick tip that I have is don't be afraid to use your gold and go to the vendors and try to find good gear. So what I will always do is like every now and then, I'll go to Renly, for example, and then I'll open the shop. So I'll talk to him, I'll buy and sell, and you want to actually scroll over the stuff that you can use. So for example, I'm a bowman, so I will look at gear like these and see whether any of them have like fire resistant, ice resistance. This is a super cheap way. They only cost like 600, which is quite easy to get. I will make a guide video on the channel as well, how I farm gold as quickly as you can, because I know some of you are complaining, so don't worry about that. There's going to be a follow-up video, so make sure you're subscribed to the channel for more such useful content. So just scroll over all of them. If any of them has like ice resistant or something like that, consider picking them up. Sometimes you even find like really great ones here, which now I might be able to purchase this one if I wanted to. But you are looking for cold resistance so that you can lower the amount of freeze that you can get. At the same time, if you have anything, the other stats that you want to look for is movement speed. So go over to like boots and see whether you collected any along the way. So like this 9% cold resistance is something that will interest me. It's only 300 gold. At the same time, if you have something like this cold resistant or movement speed even, some of them, the boots might have movement speed from time to time. If you have those are excellent because it's an indirect ignoring of movement speed. Some classes have more movement speed than other classes. For example, Ranger tends to have a little bit more than other classes, so you can dodge the thing much easier. Otherwise, you can just dodge roll and you can get out of a lot of problems. So those are some tips that I have. My stats here, I'm not really spec for damage as well, so DPS is not really a major issue. As long as you survive long term, there's no time limit to the boss. You can keep fighting him. The mechanics, I'll teach you how to survive very long. So even if you have low DPS, like myself here, I'll share with you my Ranger build in another video for any of you Rangers watching this video too. But most importantly, I think some of the quick tips, if you have played until all the way on Act 1 and you haven't upgraded your greater life potions, please do so. This is a very easy way to upgrade. If you're using like medium or like the lesser potions, you're only healing like 80 health and it's not enough. This can pretty much almost full heal me in total. And another quick tip that I have is go to Una here, buy or sell items, and don't buy the ones that have already like blue lines on them because they cost a lot of money, right? Just go to the simple ones like this 80 one and look for stuff that are very interesting. I like stuff that, for example, the one that I have here, increase amount recovered. Rolling this is really nice because you heal even more, so you can use the flask for a longer period of time. Otherwise, stuff like this in the shop, 22% of recovery applied instantly is very good. In case you immediately need that heal, this is very excellent when you make a few mistakes here and there. This is going to be very important for your survivability. And those are like my first few tips of gearing and what you want to do. But now enough talking, enough about the preparation. Let's talk about mechanics and how to deal with the boss. For the first phase of the boss, very importantly that you want to focus on is just dodging his abilities, and you want to keep as much potions as you can. This is kind of like training for the later phases because it's very similar to the overall mechanics that he has, just without the freeze in his kit. He has some AoE and some stuff like that. You can kite here and there, and it works really well, especially if you're playing with a party. You can do this in two ways. Well, you can of course do it solo as well. I'm not saying you have to do it in a party. One, you can ask global chat. Anyone is looking for fighting the boss, you can team up with any person and then you can join in as well. You guys can revive each other too. It's going to be a lot easier since this is a very nice friendly game where you can play with other people. If you are looking for players who maybe are for more long term, do consider leaving a comment below. If you play in Asia servers especially, we are looking for guild members. You can join us too. We'll be very happy to play with you, even help beat certain bosses together and farm for loot too. Let us know in the comments below. But overall, the mechanics of this boss, it really gets harder in the second phase onwards. And don't worry, there's only going to be 2 phases, but there are kind of like 3 modes in total. He has the first phase damage modes, and once you hit the second phase where he enters into his full form, once he hits like 40% life in his second form, that's when the true difficulty begins. We'll cover all the mechanics shortly. Alright, second phase begins. Now, most importantly, when he jumps into the air, you need to dodge that because it's a near one-hit KO. It's not really a one-hit KO, but the most important thing is now you have these light beams that fall from the sky. They come out 4 times, and it's quite predictable to see where they are. You just need to like dodge, roll out of the way. But very importantly is his spits on the ground. You want to dodge those because those freeze for a lot. This AoE circle, I want you to note that there is 4 seconds from the time that he appears for his next dash. 1, 2, 3, 4, dodge. 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 By counting down the skills, you also know when exactly it ends. And the easiest out of all them is this like freezing field that he provides, this huge AoE, very easy to dodge. The one that you need to be careful of is his spit that he leaves on the floor, because that slows a huge bunch, especially if you walk over it. Wherever he spits and sprays on the floor in that cone shape, you want to avoid it as much as you can, because stepping on there will slow you to oblivion and your chance of getting freeze is very high, especially if he jumps on you like that meteor. You're most likely to die if you are like super slow. So just a huge caveat that you want to take note of. This freezing field just need to stay slightly behind. He only has a certain AoE, and if you are far back enough, you'll be able to avoid it a lot of the slow. With the ice resistance that we talked about, you should be able to handle a lot of these freezing, slowing that he's providing. So all you just need to do is just handle most of his damage mechanics in the second phase. The hard part comes in the last phase, and of course, practicing his wolf attack with clouding your vision with like the fog of war. I would highly recommend you practice counting down the 4 seconds. Once you get that, the trick is really the 4 seconds. You will be able to master this second phase at least until his final fight. Alright, so final phase begins. Now this is the most dangerous part of this kit. Do not get hit by any of the pillars. All your practice from the previous section of the previous 70% HP will have trained you for this moment. But now as you are doing all the mechanics, you also have to take note of beams that periodically spawn from the sky. By knowing the count for this one, it's the same 4 seconds count. If you have that catered down, all you're just focusing on is making sure you're not getting hit by the periodic beams, and it's really very easy. So get the countdown, as we talked about, is super easy in this portion. Survive, just heal enough, and then just kill the monsters as you're going along. Otherwise, they will just die after this mode as well. So if you can't kill them, don't worry too much about it. Just don't get hit too much. And then once we exit this phase, it's the DPS window and we start doing some real damage. And last but not least, of course, for classes that I really like playing this one, I've seen many people online and on our Discord as well clearing with warriors, as well as mages, witches as well. Tons of classes. I personally cleared it with ranger, as well as my guild member has cleared it with a warrior. So every class is very possible to clear. So don't be defined by the classes. I'm going to make a ranger guide as well for any of you ranger mains. So I highly recommend you check out the video towards the end of the video. I'll put it in the end screen as well for a ranger guide if you guys are interested. Anyways, where we have more boss guides and build guides in Path of Exile. If you like the way we present our content, you find it straight to the point, do like and subscribe and check out these 2 other videos right here. Thank you guys again so much for watching. See you in the next video.